Hi guys, and welcome to my latest Let's Play series. You heard me say at the end of Final Fantasy Mystic Quest that we were going to do something a little more advanced. So without further ado, I welcome you to Let's Play Final Fantasy 1! See? Game Boy Advance. I'm sure, you know, that I wasn't the only one who saw that reference coming. What, not advanced enough for you? Okay, well, what else could we do? 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what? I got this. Let's do something a little more advanced than Final Fantasy 1. Let's do something, I don't know, 10 times as advanced. Welcome to Let's Play Final Fantasy X. I have been working on the test run for this for a little while now. It has taken me quite some time. In fact, my test run file has 118 hours on it. This will not last 118 hours. God, no. But we are going to get right into this here, and we're not going to watch the opening cutscene because we get to watch it again when we start up. This, for those wondering, is the HD remaster of Final Fantasy X and X-2, as you can see there. I am playing the Steam version of the game, which is the one I highly recommend if anyone wants to play along with me. There are a number of reasons for this. In fact, my test run was done on the PS3 version, which is crap. Do not play that version. It doesn't have any of the additional advantages that this version of the game has, and I believe the PS4 version has a lot of those bonuses, but this one overall, as far as I can tell, looks the best. It's got video options. We'll just take a quick look here. Those are my audio settings. Doesn't really matter. Can I go back? No? Okay, fine. But yeah, we got video settings. We can turn on filtering, anti-aliasing, texture, shadows, all that kind of good stuff. And I basically have everything set to max, so this should look really well. And unlike with previous LPs, as I actually did, you know, half an hour of testing with the recording software going, so hopefully there aren't any more hiccups like in previous LPs where I thought things were going to work out and then they decided not to. But okay, there is one thing I'd like to point out. This is being recorded the weekend before Final Fantasy XII launches. Now, this would have been the ideal time to start an LP of Final Fantasy XII. But considering I had never had access to the international version of Final Fantasy XII before it comes out in a few days, there was no way for me to prepare for that version of the game. I also don't have a PS4, so that's also kind of a problem. Now, we'll just start a new game up here, and I'll continue to talk about it. Now, we could do the standard grid or the expert grid. I'm going to work from the standard grid so that this can be used as a guide for those playing the original PS2 version of the game, which I would consider the second best version after the Steam version. Now, to be honest, I don't know how many bugs there are in this version because I haven't actually even played more than the first half an hour on the Steam version yet. I did my entire test run on the PS3, but I would recommend it just because looking at it right away, it looks better, it sounds better, there's more options, and they've got some cool little boosters that we will want to make use of to make things a little bit easier on ourselves. But if you just want to play the game for the story, I would actually recommend, after this one, the original PS2 version. The one that was released in North America. The reason for that is it doesn't include the international content, which makes it take longer to get access to a number of the cutscenes, as well as some of the items, such and such and such. But anyway, we'll get into that as we go. I'm going to do the standard sphere grid, and we will not be able to change this in game. I'll go over what the sphere grid is, how it all works later on. Ah, yes, the soundtrack. Some of the arranged tracks sound really good. Some of them sound better than the originals. There are too many situations where the arranged soundtrack actually kills the original mood of the game, so I'm not going to use the arranged one. I am going to stick to the original. The soundtrack can be changed in-game. Now, I own the official strategy guide for this game, and in it there's little interviews with some of the creators for the game, and Uematsu, the god of composing Final Fantasy, actually had help on this soundtrack. He just found himself running into writer's block and he couldn't get all the songs out, or he knew ahead of time that that was going to happen, and he brought on more people to help him out. And this was one of the songs that he did do himself, though, and according to that interview, it's his favorite song from the entire soundtrack. And I don't blame him one bit. Yeah, if you have played this version, or this game in the original PS2 version, you will notice right away there's a vast quality improvement in the graphics, the facial, the eyes especially. And in fact, the first time I played and saw any content from this game, I looked at the eyes and I thought they looked off. I thought they stood out too much amongst the other textures that weren't increased as much. And I don't know, I guess I've kind of balanced out on that and it doesn't bother me as much as it once did. But originally it was a little bit off-putting. So if you can get past that, everything else looks better. The menus look better. The text looks better. Everything just, it's cleaner, sharper, crisper. It looks better, and it's in widescreen as opposed to full screen, which is what the original one was in. But anyway, back to Final Fantasy XII. Like I said, this is happening before Final Fantasy XII officially launches on the PS4. I don't have a PS4, so I wouldn't be able to play it. If they decide to launch it simultaneously on Steam, which I don't think has ever even been announced, then I would consider doing, say...
Listen to my story.
Okay.
This may be our last chance.
But yeah, I would consider doing a live stream, either on YouTube or on Twitch or whatever works for other people, and just kind of go through and kind of talk about my thoughts on the game as I kind of work toward a test run. Now, I probably wouldn't live stream the entire game, but I'd, do like 2 hours or something like that as a live stream, maybe once or twice or 3 times a week, depending on, if things happen. Now, I've never done any streaming before, but it would be something interesting, something new to try. I also don't know if they're ever going to launch it on Steam. That's the only way I would get a chance to play it, because I don't plan on picking up a PS4 until the Final Fantasy VII Remake launches. That would be the only time I think I would go out of my way to buy the console. By that time, it'll have a few more games on it that I would like to take a look at as well. But anyway, enough about all of that. Let us start this game, Final Fantasy X. Now, this game is one that reminds me a little bit of Star Ocean 2 in a way, because it's one of those games that I liked more the first few times I played than the subsequent times that I played it.
Can you sign this?
No prob.
Now, let me know... Okay, hero's name is Titus. Now, I know I watched Final Fantasy X Will. That actually was more interesting than all of X-2, but never mind. And even there, they finally give his voice, or his name, a voice actor talking about it in canon, and technically it should be Titus. I don't like that name. I've always called it Titus because there's a fucking D in the name, so I'm going to call him Titus. If that bothers you, I'm sorry. But I'm going to do it anyway. It's just the way that it naturally seemed to me. It's the same with any of the other things that I screw up. Ether. I've always called it Ether instead of Ether just because that's what it looked like when I was a kid and I didn't know any better. And so I'm just going to kind of keep doing that for this game anyway.
Can I have your autograph?
I've made changes to some of my pronunciations based on new evidence,
Good luck tonight.
Yuffie and Yuffie and all that kind of stuff. I've made some changes. This is one I don't want to make a change on, just because I find it weird. I may call him Titus every once in a while, just because I've heard so many other people call him by that name at this point. But anyway.
What seat?
He's blocking the front row. Fifth from the right.
Got it.
Okay, so there's a bunch of stuff that we could unpack from this. One thing I like is that technically the theme playing now, I think they call it Titus's theme on the soundtrack. And so this song is actually a remix of the old Crystal theme, which I find kind of interesting and kind of poorly placed because it has nothing to do with Crystal in this game, and it's like the main theme for our protagonist. But anyway, once you've talked to those two groups of people, you try and walk forward, and
Well,
the game, or the
gotta go.
plot
Cheer
basically
for me.
starts.
2, 3. Teach us how to blitz!
What is Blitz?
Hey, I got a game to play.
Now, if you look at the balls that they're carrying,
teach us after.
you can kind of see,
Maybe
you know, the round
tonight,
bits on them. In the original, they look like
can't
multi-sided die. They really
I mean,
looked really
tomorrow.
crappy, and they had bad textures.
Promise?
Now they look a lot better. It's one of the reasons
Promise.
why, you know, we're one of the first glaring examples of all the work that they put into this game, and probably why it was delayed so much when when the remaster came out. This game also has a autosave feature. Now, the autosave is separate from your regular saves, and it'll autosave on a separate file, very much like it worked in, what was that game that I'm not playing anymore? Oh yeah, Last Remnant. I still have not picked up that game. I've been too busy trying to get through certain things, and, you know, gave 2 weeks to one job and starting another job and all this other stuff, and trying to get this test run done, and before that getting the Star Ocean LP done. Both were great
I was in a
undertakings.
coffee shop running away from home when I heard the news.
I love this
Our
voiceover, by the
hero,
way, so I'm gonna
Jack,
shut up.
Gone. Vanished into thin air. My dad must have been his biggest fan. I knew how sad he'd be. Heck, we all were that day. Zanar, I says to myself, what are you thinking? I went running straight back home. We sat up talking about Jack all night. My dad and I never talked so much. Whoa. Didn't mean to reminisce, folks. Anyway, 10 years later, the Jack Memorial Cup tournament is today. The two teams that have won through to the finals are, of course, the Abes from A East and the Duggles from C South. I know there's a lot of people out there today to see the star of the Abes. In just 1 year, he's become the team's #1 player. He's Jack's blood and the new hope of Blitzball. What kind of super play will he show us today? Will we see his father's legendary shot? I don't think I'm the only one excited here, folks.
Okay, so I don't know why I love that voiceover so much. It sounds more real as far as the voice acting goes than a lot of this game does, because this game has ups and downs with the voice acting, but I think there's probably more downs than there are ups. And yes, we will talk about the infamous scene when we get there. But yeah, if you follow this lady back, she's I think the only one running backwards by herself, and you talk to her 3 times, you'll get a couple of potions. Cool. Can I go to the menu? I can't even go to the menu. Doesn't really matter. I don't know. I find that cutscene or that voiceover is pretty cool. Now, the basic plot that we've been given so far is it's 10 years since Jekt, a legendary player, has disappeared. Gone, dead, we don't know. And the idea is that our hero, Titus, whatever, is his son. And so we're going and playing in a memorial tournament dedicated to him 10 years after the fact. And apparently our guy here plays for the Zanarkand Abes, and he's really talented. At least that's what they've said so far. Now, I'm going to have to cut... Oh, not this
Make
music.
way, make way!
Alright, try and run through all these people.
Coming through, sorry.
And they get in my way, and you can
Hey,
luckily push
I'm
them
gonna be late.
out of the way, which is nice, because
Hey,
there's
go
no one
of
even
me.
there! What are you doing? But yeah, they give you the ability to push NPCs out of your way, which I do like, you know, as a callback to all the times NPCs have gotten in my way in every other game I've played. But that's the only time you get to do it. Now, this, I'm going to have to turn down a little bit, the audio, once it kicks up. But I absolutely love this intro. It is so well done. It shows off the great new graphics. It kicks into high gear with lots of energy. And shit happens to advance the story, start the plot, and all of that. It is really well done. Even if the song is kind of hit and miss for me, you know, it's metal, which is great, I love metal, but it's like barking death metal stuff, which I'm not as into. And as far as death metal goes, it's not very, you know, death metal-y? I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of hard to hear what the vocalist is singing there. I'm guessing it's still in Japanese, but I can't tell. And here we have an old dude with one of the largest turtlenecks I've ever seen. And that is one hell of a wave. Is that supposed to be there? Oh, Blitzball. Oh, Blitzball. Now, the thing is, I really like this cutscene because it shows off how cool this concept of Blitzball could be. And that's physically impossible. And there's no way they would set up a league with something like that if that could happen, because there's no way they would be able to pay the insurance. Whoa. The whole world's like warping. What is this, Ultimacia's castle? Nah, we'll get to that one in due time. Don't you worry about that. It'll happen. I have plans to do LPs for all of the first 10 Final Fantasy games, save for 3, because I still haven't played that one to this day. What in the hell are you doing? Oh. Oh, shit! Well, in typical JRPG fashion, well, it's not really our little backwards village, but our giant metropolis that we live in as our hometown is getting annihilated, so I guess that's par for the course for JRPGs. Well done. See what I said by shit happens in this intro? I love it. And then it stops. And that little chocobo is the indication of an autosave in the bottom right corner there. He was there for a moment. But, yeah, it doesn't overwrite your existing, hard save files, so I like that. It'll just go over the autosave slot over and over again. So it can be useful. I think it triggers every time you go into a new area or something like that, or a new door. So that can be helpful, especially if you die in a battle in a new area, and then you don't have to go back, however long. Do you say anything? No, none of you guys say anything. Okay, fine then. So we learned the name of the badass guy with the turtleneck. His name is Auron. Auron is probably one of the most interesting characters in this entire game. And a lot of people that I've heard from have pretty much said the same thing. Now, I'm going to say remember the emblem on the back of this guy's shirt there for later. But it's going to be, 50 hours later. Or 40 or 30 or whatever it is. It's going to be a long way away. Just keep it in mind. Why would he cry? And who are you? And how did you freeze time? What? Hey, where'd he go? He freezes time, he teleports.
What the?
And he's younger than our protagonist. Yeah, he must be one of the previous JRPG heroes. From the old games where everyone was like 6 years old.
Hey, not this way.
Why not?
Look.
Look. What? What do we got here? More cutscenes. What? It's a big sphere of water. Isn't that the one that was in the,
Sin.
It looked like water, not a thing, but okay, sure. If you say so. Oh, hello. What do we have here? What are all those green things? Are those your scales? Oh. They are monsters. Oh, well. Happy, happy joy.
Take it.
Take what? Owie. That hurts.
A gift from Jekt.
My old man?
Ah, so does that mean he's alive? And our hero is incompetent. Yay! Tradition!
I hope you know how to use it.
Actually, now that I think about it, most other games, they're mercenaries or resistance fighters or all that stuff. They usually know what they're doing.
These ones don't matter. We cut through.
Well, we could, or probably not. No, I don't think so. This is the battle I think it is, and I'm going to double check real quick. I don't really want to kill these guys. Alright, so I just wanted to double check there because there's a few battles early on where you're fighting these sin scale enemies, and the enemies will not actually attack, even though you'll notice on the top right side there, there's a list there, and it shows when the monsters go and when your team goes. So this is no longer the ATB system we're working with. This is a turn-based system, which is fine. You know, I like both systems, you know, just as much as the other. I think there's a lot of time more strategy involved in the, or maybe a little more luck involved in the ATB system. You know, there's more strategy in the turn-based system, but that's fine too. You can have like a combination of both, like in a Grandia system too. So it's not like they're mutually exclusive. But anyway, what we can do here is we can attack our own characters. In fact, we can attack ourselves if we manage to hit. But yeah, you'll notice that they were supposed to get a turn. They did not get a turn. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to weaken down my characters so that they're in... Would you hit yourself already, Orin? Not very good at hitting yourself, are you? Okay, I'm just going to target Titus then, because that's kind of annoying. But, you hit him? You can't hit anybody. You're not even in darkness. Yeah, Orin's accuracy, not so great. And the reason we want to... There, we finally hit himself. Now we're going to go after you and miss. That's fine. What I want to do is I want to get them into critical HP and then stay alive, or have only one person alive in critical HP. And the reason you want to do this is to get what is called an overdrive mode. Now, you don't have to do this by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm going to set this up now because it allows you to make things a little bit easier going forward, and you really want your main hero Titus to get his overdrive as often as possible. So now that we're both in that mode, you can just guard by pressing the triangle button if you want, or you can kill one outright and get even more than we would have before. So now that we've got Orin set up like that, I'm just going to press the triangle button to guard over and over and over again. Now, in the original version of the game, this would take a while. In this version of the game, we have access to some special features. The turbo feature. If we press the F1 key, like I did here, we get 2 times battle speed. Press it again, we get 4 times battle speed. So basically, I'm just going to keep pressing triangle until I learn some new overdrive modes for him, because you're not going to get attacked in this battle, and it'll take a long time to learn these, otherwise you'll be halfway through the game. So I'm going to go off screen, do a bunch of this stuff with both characters. You can use an item and use a Phoenix down to revive Titus up there and get him to do the same thing, and then use a couple of potions on each of your characters to set them up and be ready for subsequent fights. So anyway, I'm going to do this, and I will see you in a moment. Okay, we're back. I will show a screenshot or just a little clip of when I learned any of the modes there. Now, here's the thing. You can learn 2 different modes by just guarding in low HP over and over again. One of them is the loner ability if you're by yourself, and one is the daredevil ability if you are in lower, I think loner is by yourself and daredevil is low HP. Anytime you have a turn. Now, I could have them both side by side and guard over and over again until I learn the allied one as well, but that one's nowhere near as useful. The daredevil one isn't particularly useful anyway, and that one takes a long time to get for either character. I would just go, I think it's about 35 or 40 or something like that, attempts with turns with Orin, and he learns the loner one, which he probably won't use. Titus, on the other hand, will use his loner one. It takes him about 90 turns to learn that. And even, like, as you can see here, it doesn't take all that long. You just spam the button over and over again. If you're playing the Steam version, you have that game booster. You can speed things up, make it a little easier on yourself. Once you're done doing that, you can come and kill a couple of these enemies and move on. There's a critical there. You'll notice there's an additional sound effect and sounds like more damage is coming off. Each character has their own unique sound there. Now this is technically the second
Don't
battle.
bother going after all of them. Cut the ones that matter and run.
Okay, now to give you the impression that these ones can hurt you, the first one does damage. And then they don't attack anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to target, let's see here. There we go. You can target the back ones. And what you want to do is target the back ones over and over and over again until you, and of course they're going to keep respawning. And you want to do this over and over and over again until you learn another overdrive mode called Slayer. Now this one will be useful for both our characters, and as you can see, we're not getting attacked at this point, and we never will again. There's an overkill there. That happens if you deal a certain amount of damage. It's a fixed amount of damage per enemy. And what it'll do is it'll give you additional experience and additional drops. Most enemies in this game will drop one of something, and if you overkill them, you'll get two of that thing. Everyone's got a rare drop too, or most enemies do anyway. So it's worthwhile going out of your way to overkill a lot of the enemies that you're going to fight. Now I'm going to do the rest of this off screen with the fast forward feature on. Now the way the fast forward feature works is you'll notice my commands, like going into the menu there, it's not sped up. And so this is, in a way, it's a much more useful ability than, say, I don't know, the original fast forward on an emulator. Oops, no, we don't want to do that. There we go. So yeah, I'm going to do the rest of this off screen here, and I will see you in a moment again. Okay, we're back. So yeah, I said that I was going to do it, and I did it, and I learned it all. One of the things to note about fast forward is it cuts out all of the sound effects, which makes it a lot less grating when doing things over fast forward. And so yeah, I learned Slayer Overdrive mode for both of my characters there. That'll make things a lot easier going forward. Now that we've killed the ones that keep respawning in the back, we can take care of the ones in the front and move forward with the rest of this, rest of the game here. Now, you don't have to do that little bit of grinding I did. With the fast forward on, it probably took 5, 6, 7 minutes, something like that. Not really all that long. Without the fast forward, it's probably going to take 15 minutes, but it's entirely up to you if it's something you feel interested in doing. Oh, right. I was supposed to write something down, and I didn't. Oh, I'm going to have to go off screen a second. Now, the one downside to playing a PC port is anytime there's button combinations to enter, say for an overdrive, which we're about to learn about, they put them into the
Get out of my town!
the generic
Some can't wait to die.
numbers or letters that are going to be on the controller you're likely using, which I think they set it up for an Xbox 360 controller, I think, because it's Windows based, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm going to go look up what the combination of button presses is, write it down in front of me so I don't screw this up. But anyway, basically, once the little bar below the character's HP values there and their name goes all orange like that, you go over to the left, you can select your overdrive, and you'll have a few different modes. So I'm going to go write down the sequence for this, and I will see you in a moment. Okay, got her all figured out. Just wanted to make sure I wrote that down. God, shoot. I screwed it up. Oh, jeez. Oh, well, I'm not going to worry about it. It's not really that important, but I did press it in the right order, though. Huh. That's weird. I guess the guide was wrong or something like that. Just because I like when it shows the button numbers there or whatever for the X or circle, square, X, triangle, they don't show them the same way in here, I guess because they're not allowed to use the PlayStation numbers or letters or whatever. But anyway. So yeah, this boss is not very difficult at all. It only casts Demi and can't do anything else. So you'll never die, no matter how many times you get hit by it. You still want to take the boss down faster rather than slower. And that's because there are fights beyond this, and they will be able to kill you. Now, I can't remember how many hits I need to kill this guy. You could use Titus's Overdrive there, and I may, if I think maybe one more round of attacks, and then I'll use the Overdrive. And that might allow me to overkill the boss. Maybe. The one thing is certain overdrives, like in his case it's called Swordplay, he's got a move called Spiral Cut. Now, hopefully this kills him. There we go. I am trying to get used to... Ow, that didn't do nearly as much damage as I thought it would. And it didn't overkill him, but oh well, that's fine. Yeah, I don't know, I just find the timing difference between the PC version and the PS3 version, even though I'm using the same wireless controller for each situation, seems to be different. Maybe there's input lag created by the HD TV, I'm not sure. Ah, yes, we have a save point. I don't think there's anything back here, is there? Nothing! Okay, cool. So yeah, Orin ran up there. We're gonna go... Okay, we can't go that way. We're gonna go hit that save point. Save all the progress that I've been doing. Traveler's Save Sphere. This is save point. You run into it and it restores your HP and your MP, and you can save. As you can see, I've put about an hour's worth of time, even though the amount on screen is probably about half an hour right now. But yeah, that's pretty much all for the first episode of Let's Play Final Fantasy X. Let me know how the audio levels are, see if there's anything I need to adjust there. Visuals, make sure you guys are happy with everything. If not, then I will go work on the next... I'm going to go edit this episode right now and probably get this one... We'll get the first week's worth of episodes up this week here. And then any changes to the editing that I need to make, I'll be able to make them on subsequent episodes after that. So anyway, that's all for this one, and I'll see you guys next time.